The story of a noble monk stopping at a house and being killed, number 22. Once upon a time, there was a famous monk in the capital of Kyoto um, who made a living by accepting requests and traveling around. One day, this monk received a request from a respectable household and, feeling delighted, prepared to visit. However, since he couldn't borrow a cart, he decided to walk. Thinking it would look unseemly to walk such a long distance in his formal monk robes, he decided to wear casual clothes with a plain hat and carry his monk's attire in a bag. His plan was to find a small house near the place of invitation, change into his formal robes, and then continue on. As he passed by a small house nearby, he asked to borrow it, and a young woman, the mistress of the house, said, "Please come in quickly." The house had a guest room of about one mat in size, and she had already laid out a mat for him to sit on. The monk sat down and began to prepare to put on his robes, unaware of the grave situation he had walked into. Unknown to the monk, the young mistress of the house had been having an affair with another monk. Her real husband, who was a servant, had grown suspicious. He pretended to leave the house, but instead hid in the neighboring house, waiting to spy on her. When he saw the monk enter, he immediately assumed this was his wife's lover and rushed back to his house in a fit of jealousy. Upon entering the house, he saw the monk and immediately thought, "This is the one." Without hesitation, he burst into the room. The monk, unaware of the situation, continued preparing his robes. The enraged husband, thinking the monk was his wife's lover, confronted his wife, saying, "Is this the man you've been lying about?" The wife tried to explain, "This person is a monk who came at the request of the master from next door to deliver his robes," but the husband did not listen. Instead, he drew his sword and charged at the monk, stabbing him in the chest. The monk, taken by surprise, raised his hands and pleaded, "What is happening?" But the monk had no strength to fight back, and he collapsed backward, mortally wounded. The wife cried out in shock, "How terrible!" and tried to stop the attack, but it was already too late. After stabbing the monk, the man ran out of the house and fled. The monk's young apprentice, who had been waiting outside, saw what had happened and rushed out to the street, shouting, "A man has been killed." Hearing the cry, people gathered and captured the fleeing man. The monk, though grievously wounded, remained alive for a short while but eventually succumbed to his injuries. Officials from the nearby house came and arrested the man, handing him over to the authorities, kabishi. The wife was also arrested and taken into custody. The man was interrogated and eventually sentenced to prison. In the end, due to a baseless misunderstanding, 3 lives were destroyed. This too must have been the result of karma from past lives. Thus, it is said that one should never enter unfamiliar or suspicious homes without cause, as unexpected misfortunes may occur. People have passed this down as a cautionary tale. Thus, the story has been passed down. The tale of a man from Yamashiro who tried to kill his brother with an arrow. Once upon a time, in a village in the province of Yamashiro, there were 2 brothers. For some unknown reason, the younger brother harbored the intent to kill his elder brother, but pretended to be indifferent. The elder brother was completely unaware of this. One day, the younger brother saw an opportunity. On the evening of December 20th, while his brother was visiting a nearby neighbor, eating, drinking, and chatting until nightfall, the younger brother saw this as a perfect chance. As night deepened, he armed himself with a bow and arrows and positioned himself by the gate of the house where his brother was. He planned to kill his brother with a single arrow as soon as he came out. As he waited for his brother to leave, the night grew darker. Yet, when his brother finally finished his visit and came out, lighting a lantern for a small servant, the younger brother was overjoyed. He drew a large arrow on his bow, pulled it back with great strength, and aimed carefully. Confident in his skill, he thought he would surely hit his mark. However, when he released the arrow, it veered off course and missed its target. Startled, the younger brother prepared to fire another arrow. At this moment, the brother, having heard the noise and feeling uneasy, quickly closed the door, seeking shelter from the perceived threat. It turned out that the arrow had struck a shell placed to cover a gap in the door, which made it appear as if the arrow had been deflected by some sort of barrier. The commotion inside the house drew the attention of the villagers, who, hearing the noise, took up their bows and torches and searched for the younger brother. Despite their efforts, he managed to evade capture by dancing around and fleeing. Eventually, the villagers discovered that the arrows were indeed those belonging to the younger brother, leaving no doubt of his guilt. There must have been some investigation afterward, but what happened next is unknown. Those who heard the elder brother's account of the incident remarked, "Even among family, one's heart can be treacherous." Thus, the story has been passed down. The story of the spirit of the demon shrine at Sanjō number 1. Once upon a time, in the area north of Sanjō and east of the Toin district, there was a place known as the Demon Shrine, Oniden. This place was said to be haunted by a spirit. In ancient times, before the capital was moved to Kyoto, there was a large pine tree at the site of the Demon Shrine in Sanjō, east of the Toin district. One day, a man riding a horse carrying a burden of goods was passing by when suddenly a thunderstorm erupted. The man could not get past the storm, so he dismounted his horse and led it, seeking shelter under the large pine tree. Unfortunately, lightning struck, killing both the man and his horse instantly. After his death, the man became a spirit. Even after the capital was moved to Kyoto, the site where the demon shrine was located was developed into residential property, but the spirit did not leave. People continued to believe that the spirit remained there and told stories about it. It was said that misfortunes often occurred at that site, and the spirit's presence was widely known and feared. Thus, the story has been passed down.